with us. So I want to thank all of you here tonight that you took the time to come out and to learn about how we can be safer in the neighborhoods. I can tell you that collaboration among ourselves is probably one of the single most important things that we can do. Many criminals are looking for neighborhoods that are vulnerable. And neighborhoods that are vulnerable are the neighborhoods, one, that are not clean. The broken window theory is something they'll talk about tonight. Graffiti should be cleaned up very quickly. You need to notify the city. But also, don't stay indoors a lot. Do the walks. Take your dogs out. The more movement there is in a neighborhood, the more the criminals are going to go somewhere else. So there is strength in numbers, and you outnumber the people that want to commit the crime. So.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kathleen Flynn, and I'm the president of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Association. You know me from your next door block because this is my neighborhood. Casey, could you come up for a minute, please? Casey has a real quick, important announcement. He's going to pass these out. Please help him get these around the neighborhood, especially to the people who couldn't make it tonight.
Not quite prepared, but my name is Casey Vess. I live in Cambrian Park, which is a small county pocket. We're surrounded by San Jose. And what I noticed is like the third, well, this is the second, and there'll be one more kind of like a neighborhood watch meeting. But the meeting that I'm trying to head up actually has representatives from Yeager's office as well as Rocha's. And that's maybe a forum where, I know this is more of an informational meeting, but it's a forum where we can actually express our discontent and maybe get some direction from the County Board of Supervisors as well as the City Council as to what we can do to kind of help, you know, decrease the crime. I know just in my block we've had car break-ins, my expensive mountain bike got stolen right out of my garage. And we've also just right up the street off of Bronson had actual intruders go in during the day and steal a lot of electronics and whatnot. But Sheriff's Office happened to actually catch one of the two and apprehended one of the guys, and they were from East Palo Alto. So it's like we have a welcome mat for a lot of people who are criminals. So we do have some flyers that I'll go ahead and hand out, or I can just actually leave them out here. And then I would encourage you, it's April 24th at 6:30 over at the Cambrian Park United Methodist Church. And again, representatives will be there and we can voice our concerns. That'll be the third meeting in less than a month about crime in the area. So I know this is kind of like the Cambrian Park area, there's Oster and all that. And maybe we can work on getting coordinated as a community instead of just have 2 and 3 and 4 meetings, and we only get a smatter of what actually people really are representing for their community. So thank you very much, and hope you guys will come out.
Thank you. For tonight's meeting, the restrooms are right outside the windows here if you need to use a restroom. If you're going to have any questions, what we'd like to do is the people you see on purple t-shirts are board members for the MLK. Just get a card from them and write down the question. We'll deal with questions at the end of the presentations. So each presenter is going to cover a different topic. I'm going to go ahead and give Councilmember Don Rocha the opportunity just to say a few words. And then we'll get going on actually making the presentations.
Thank you, Jose. I'll be brief. But as you've seen on the agenda, if you haven't have a chance to grab it when you came in, it's a pretty long agenda. And so I'm going to move quickly through mine. And generally what I want to start with is a big thank you to the folks who approached me on this event. I want to thank Kathleen Flynn, a real leader on this issue with the Martin Luther King Association. And I want to take the Fraternal Order of Police, Avi Lopez, for his role in supporting this. These folks really are leaders in the community, not just on public safety, but on a number of issues, and I really appreciate your leadership in everything in the community. As far as the thank yous, I'm going to wrap it up there and just really move on to the reason for the meeting. And Jose really framed it real well, so I'm not going to revisit that issue. But as a city council member, as you know, our role is really public safety with the police and fire departments. And as you probably read in the paper, or at least heard around the block, is that our investment in public safety has been reduced significantly, for the last couple of years. That's due to budget deficits. But with the mayor's budget release that was just dropped, I believe 2 weeks ago, it's my hope that you're going to see from this mayor and council a reinvestment in public safety. And it's probably going to be more on the police side, given the concern we're hearing about crime, whether it's residential burglaries, whether it's property crimes, whether it's the homicide rate last year, as you probably saw a lot in the paper. So with that, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to be around for any questions if they're specific to city council related, or myself, Brady Rebush, is somewhere walking around back there in the back. He or I will be around through the rest of the meeting. And again, if there's any questions for us specifically, we're happy to answer them. And thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Don. If you have any, when we go into questionings, or if there are individual questions, just raise your hand and we'll get an officer actually to, because if you really have detailed specific ones, rather than present it in front of the whole group, we'll get you a personal one-on-one with the officer outside, and you can go over whatever the situation is, and I think we'll be able to move the meeting along a little better. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce President of Lodge 52, FOP, Robert Lopez.
Okay. Before we continue into the presentation, I'd want to introduce my boss, one of the deputy chiefs, Fondo, up here in the front.
Thank you, Bobby. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank the Martin Luther King Jr. Association, the FOP, Councilmember Rocha, and all the presenters tonight for being here tonight, and also for inviting me and allowing me to say a few words to the community here. I think this is great, seeing all of you here. This is what community policing is all about. It's about the police department partnering with the community to reduce crime, because we all know that the police just can't do it by ourselves. We just can't. You go out there and arrest, our way out of the problem. And we do have some challenges here in our police department, so it's great to see all of you here. And I think another thing too that is really important, that really gets lost in the conversation of crime reduction. Because when people talk about reducing crime, most of the time they're talking about arresting people. But I think the main component, if we really want to reduce crime, is crime prevention. Because if you prevent crime from happening in the first place, if you prevent other people or yourself from being a victim, that will help drive down crime. And so that's why I think that it is really admirable to have these law enforcement officers here tonight on their own time that's going to help you and provide information, crime prevention tips that will help you from being a crime victim, and also pass on the information to you so that you can pass on to your friends and family members, because that's a force multiplier for us in driving down crime in the city of San Jose. So we have a lot of folks here that have a lot of experience, and I'm sure that they're going to be able to provide you with lots of good information tonight. And if you have any questions, I'll be here also tonight for the rest of the meeting. Thank you very much.